What is going on, everyone? Good. How's it going? It kind of feels like like a Star Wars Christmas today.
It is a little emotionally overwhelming.
Yeah. Like, there was a time in my life where I thought I potentially would not get any new Star Wars whatsoever. And then we got the prequel trilogy. And then when that was over, I'm like, well, I guess it's done. I like George at the time said he wasn't really going to do anything publicly anyways. And then Disney bought it, and we got a couple movies with some waits in between. And now we've just entered this like sweet spot of just non-stop Star Wars. And I feel today is a very good example, especially coming off Andor, how there's basically a little bit of everything for everyone.
Yep.
Like no matter what, I feel like they're offering something for someone out there to, get involved in the franchise.
Yeah, no, I agree. And as much as I am as you're well aware, I'm a big physical media person. Like I'm a guy who still buys movies. I can't help but give a ton of praise to the Disney streaming app and the people in the brains behind that. I mean, they are taking things that could literally be movies if they wanted to. This is 20 years ago. The Mandalorian is not a TV show. It's a movie with massive production value. And we're waiting for them. And they're big releases. I mean, with technology, the way it exists now, you can drop these 8, 9, 10 episode shows with obscene budgets that are literally, in some instances, a lot better than a major film production. They can really take the time to go through the story. They can explain it. They can elaborate on it. They can, do anything from Easter eggs to introduce new characters that have the ability to have their own properties. And that's because of things like Disney Plus. So
yeah,
give credit where it's due, right? I mean, this is incredible.
We'll obviously get into it, but like to your point, like budget wise and spectacle, like 30 minutes of this Mandalorian episode has some better effects than every other movie you kind of see out there on the big screen. It's crazy that they just slam that on a little Disney Plus streaming release.
Yeah,
I know it's not just little, like it's their flagship product, so to speak, right? They launched Disney Plus with the Mandalorian. But yeah, it's for me to just roll out of bed and look at my work schedule and be like, I don't have a meeting until 9:00, and I got the kids fed and out the door by 8. I literally just got to sit on my couch and crank my sound bar up as high as possible and watch the premiere of The Mandalorian, which is sweet. It's sweet. Like it feels good, regardless of how that show turns out. In the moment of like the excitement of getting out of bed, like throwing it on right away, like you got a brand new release. It's not like you have to wait and go to theater. Mind you, we both love the theater.
Yeah.
It was nice, very nice.
So here's the thing. How much is Disney Plus? $10 a month? Something like that?
I find it's always going up. Yeah.
All right. So let's say it's $10 a month. Yeah. There are 161.8 million Disney Plus subscribers as of Q4 2022.
Yeah.
They say right now on Wikipedia 164 million. So that means you are $1.64 billion a month in revenue to properties they already own.
Yep.
That is an incredible business proposition. I mean,
they got to do those numbers to meet those budgets, right? Like the Star Wars
and they're doing
Marvel shows are like, it's like upwards of 10 million plus an episode, something ridiculous like that.
But they are. And again, shout out to everybody who takes that time and their money to subscribe to Disney Plus, because this is giving Disney obscene revenue every single month to do these things. So again, it's weird from someone who loves physical media, who loves going to theater, but watching The Mandalorian opening tonight really reaffirmed in my nerdy brain that there is an absolute huge place for streamed media. Now, my 1 10-second rant on stream media before we get into this is the video looks great, even compressed. I mean, for what they're doing, it's amazing. It really wouldn't take a lot to uncompress the audio a little bit. I would really appreciate if like you can leave the video alone. It looks fine.
Yeah.
But for how small the audio file track is in these things, it'd be nice to see them just stretch it out a little. Give me something lossless.
Yeah. And considering I'll be putting in a brand new surround sound system sometime this year, I would also second that.
Yeah.
I want to get my bang for my buck.
Yeah. I mean, if 4K video streams at 25 megabits per second, if I'm not mistaken, the audio streams at like 768 kilobits. That's it. It's tiny. It's microscopic. If you could just give me like a 2 megabit per second file of audio, it would just sound so much more full, so much bigger. But I know that I'm not the majority. So anyway, it's my rant.
It's gotta be coming, right? It's gotta be coming.
There is conversations about some.
As soon as one of them does it, right? You'll see all streaming services follow suit. They just need one domino to fall. So let's talk. I think the one we want to talk about first is Mando. I thought the Bad Batch was just going to be just blah blah blah, give it a score and go on. But a lot of interesting things happen there as well.
For sure.
So let's start Mando. And I'll kind of start with some high level stuff that I felt right from the get go. For one, this episode is like a breakneck pace, like
flex.
Yeah.
It's just one of these.
How many locations,
basically
characters,
one of these.
And things can we do in 32
and
minutes?
None of them were Tatooine.
And none was Tatooine.
No one was on Tatooine.
It's like let's check on the entire galaxy. In a 20-minute, N1 starfighter ride.
And a pretty short episode to do all this. It wasn't like a 90-minute.
Yeah, no, it was short.
Yep.
It was the shortest opener yet for the Mando. So, we see like he goes to Nevada. Well, sorry. I was completely glossing over the opening battle sequence. So first off, we open with the sequence on the new Enclave, wherever planet they are on. And they are, swearing in a new, probably
Cult
foundling
member.
is probably what I would imagine.
Cult member?
Yeah. Foundling.
And
at one
are
point,
they the Watch or the Death Watch? I keep forgetting. What were they?
The Night's Watch, or what was it?
Night's
they're
Watch?
They're not Death. No, they're not Death Watch.
Night's Watch, the Watch, Night's Watch, something like that. But yeah.
At first, I thought it was a flashback. I thought that was potentially Din Djarin getting sworn in.
Yep.
Yeah, but
the guy with the big gun made me realize it wasn't.
Yeah, since he was there, I'm like, does that mean he's like now like 50, 60 maybe?
Yeah.
I was like, I don't know. I could see the armor being who she was at that point stage, but we quickly find out it's not the case. It's present day. So we open with a little Mandalorian lore, like how our cult that we follow, how they bring new members in. They're doing their little ceremony. He got his custom helmet forged. I thought it was interesting. The visor on this helmet was actually extra wide. I don't know if that's because the helmet was a little smaller, but I noticed that your viewing ports were a little extra wide, a little bit different. Yeah, some nice colors on it.
All right,
yeah. And then
Jurassic Park.
Jurassic Park happens.
Yeah.
My kids have actually been drifting away from watching Star Wars. And like Cole's into dinos big time. So when he saw that, it was like, oh, a Mosasaurus. And he was like right into it.
Yeah. He's back in. He's just waiting for more dinosaurs.
So he watched all these Mandalorians try to take down this dino, and a couple of them get eaten. And I gotta say, I made a note about it. How does Mando keep finding these people? Like now he's on Apostate. I feel like they want nothing to do with him, but he always knows where they are.
Yeah.
He found him on the spaceship. The whole first season, he's spending his time looking for other Mandalorians, right?
Yeah.
And then
now they can't get rid of him.
He always just finds them.
Just finds them now.
you know, regardless of him just showing up randomly, it that kind of reminded me of Rogue One, of like the Walker staring down on Baze, about to annihilate him after he hits him with the rocket launcher, and the X-wing comes in and pounds it.
Yeah.
Same thing. The Gator, the Mosasaur, just lines up the little kid. And I, you know, we spent zero time with the kid. I wouldn't have felt either any type of way if he would have got eaten there. But Mando comes in and fires a little laser barrage, and then launches the old proton torpedo. And we get some gore.
Night.
You know, we
night,
had some gore.
Tom
Yeah, we had some gore with the Crate Dragon episode, and this missile basically blows its belly and intestines right open.
Yeah, and
that was cool.
And here's the thing.
That's cool for Star Wars to show.
99 out of 100 cults, if you broke a rule, but you happen to show up and save everyone's life, I'm going to go out on a limb and say, you know what? I understand you did something that we don't love, but you're good.
Yeah.
Not the watch. He's instantly reminded.
Yeah.
Instantly.
So again, we kind of rehashed this exact same conversation we've had with him, telling him, you know, you got to go to the mines, and now we find out they've all been destroyed. I mean,
during the purge,
we knew they're all destroyed, but she was saying like the mines itself are destroyed, like you can't even go to it.
And they've been poisoned, apparently.
Yeah. So I have a question for you. This is one of my kind of, I don't know, kind of weird moments, maybe nitpick a little bit. Say Mandalore was never carpet bombed to glass by the Empire during the purge. And Mando took his helmet off. Would it be as simple as just going to, you know, I don't know why I can't think of the name of the capital, the main city there. Anyways, just strolling down the street to where the river is and just hopping in and be like, redeemed. Like,
I'm assuming there's more to it.
I know they make it seem like, they make it seem like it's like this huge feat, but the reason why it's a huge feat is because everything's destroyed. But like, if everything wasn't destroyed, like what else? What else would there be? I'm assuming the you've obviously seen the trailer, right, for the show. The creature at the end that Grogu kind of force pushes around. I'm assuming that creature lives in the mines, is my guess. So maybe it's a bit of a test of strength or whatever, you know, fear strength to go down there. We might see that coming up, but if we don't, it just it seems a little odd that you know, it might not be the hardest thing to redeem yourself in the eyes of the one Mandalore. But yeah, so Din gets put on his quest, and before he goes anywhere, he obviously has to check in on his good buddy Grief Karga. And in within 10 seconds on Navarro, we got like a bajillion Easter eggs.
Okay.
Well, maybe
where
not
to even start.
Well, so we get the chef droid from Obi-Wan Kenobi.
Yep.
I mean, sorry, not Obi-Wan, from Book of Boba Fett. I said Obi-Wan Kenobi because I made a meme and put Obi-Wan Kenobi in that scene. You know, we get we've seen them a lot before, but we get the monkey lizards again hanging out in the tree. You know,
of course.
Salacious B. Crumb's family. We get IG-11 with a newly erected statue.
Yep. I liked that. I liked that. I thought that was a great tribute as a savior. To a droid that Mando couldn't stand. I mean,
yeah. We quickly address where Cara Dune's going to be.
Yep.
So
interesting.
Yeah. So she's just off on Special Forces. Is that what they said?
Yep.
Yeah. So quickly it got the elephant out of the room, gone with her. We get, I don't know if it was actually Babu Frick,
but the Azurians.
So we get them.
Oh my God. His comment when Grogu hugs him and he calls him a bad baby.
I literally have it written down right here. I literally have Grogu squeezing, bad baby. Yeah, I died.
Baby.
I died. Yeah. And
no, it's broken. It's broken. Okay, then we can fix. Bad baby. Bad baby. And even just the translation, he says he can. Yeah, I got it.
Yeah. What a ridiculous scene. You got, he squeezed through this little hole. I don't know how Din Djarin got in there. You got Grogu squeezing Babu Frick, and Grief Karga's bent over talking to them through the little doorway trying to translate.
Yeah. Bad baby.
Again, the tone of this show, much, much different than Andor or Bad Batch. Like there's
Yeah,
a
for
lot
sure.
of humor and fun injected into the show. So Mando wants IG-11 because it's the only droid he trusts, and he seems to want a droid to go into the mines.
Yeah.
And again, like the amount of stuff they squeezed in this episode, they even had time to squeeze in reprogram or like firing up IG-11 and him activating his old programming and tries to kill Grogu.
Yeah.
Like just climbing across the floor like a zombie, which is kind of cool looking.
But there's a big takeaway here.
What's that?
If this happened in The Mandalorian season 2 episode before the end, that would have been it. He would have been done. He would have said, I'll figure it out myself.
Yeah.
But there was such loyalty to this friend of Grogu. He even talks about him like, there's your old friend, that he's willing to go find this part to turn him back to that nurse droid.
Yeah.
That to me was one of those small little moments that was huge in the show. Because
so
anything up to it had been like, nope, forget it. He would have blown it up and been like, okay, I'm just going to find some other way.
Yeah. So speaking of the part, this is another kind of weird aspect of the episode, and it almost makes me wonder, should this have been a 2-part premiere? I say that because I know at the actual premiere that they had in LA, they showed the first 2 episodes. So what I'm getting at is he says he has to go get the part for IG-11, and we'll talk about the pirates in a second. But basically, he heads to where Bo-Katan is and asks her to either help him with other Mandalorians or to tell him how to get to the mine. It's just like, I thought you were trying to
skip
get the
whole thing. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's why I was like, I don't, that's what I mean. I wonder if there's a part 2, like next episode, he's actually searching for the part. But it was like weird. It's like he almost gave up on the droid. Well, if I can get Bo-Katan and the other Mandos, what do I need IG-11 for? Like maybe he wants IG-11 to protect Grogu while he's like doing shit. Like it's kind of awkward storytelling.
I mean, you know exactly where he's going.
Yeah.
He's going back to his junker friend and the Jawas. 100%.
Oh,
we're going to see that lady at the hangar again.
She's in the trailer too, so yeah, we know it's.
You're definitely going to see her.
Yeah. So yeah, it's kind of. That's why I can't help but wonder if it was supposed to be a 2-part opener. And to your point, if we magically go back to Tatooine again, and that's where he gets the part, it'll correct how I feel. But it just, for this contained episode, it felt
it's like
weird.
They skipped a chunk.
Yeah, it's like why are you going to Bo-Katan right now?
Or make it a 90-minute opener.
Yeah, exactly. What's that mean? Give us both, or give us the extended episode. But Bo-Katan's castle is cool. She's like just moping around.
Oh, she sucks. She is unhappy with life right now.
So
everyone left because the Darksaber is gone. We haven't seen him wield this Darksaber yet, by the way. He's just rocking the BlackBerry holster with it.
Well, we know in the Book of Boba Fett he rocked it.
Yeah.
But yeah, he struggled with it. He didn't even show it to Bo-Katan either. He just said, "Yeah, I got it." You like that?
Yeah.
Bo,
right here for you.
And then she said that
just give it to her. Like here.
Yeah. Well, she can't. She has to win it in combat.
Have a thumb war.
That's how she lost before, right? Because Sabine just gave it to her.
Sabine,
yeah. The
one
interesting
of my
is she's
favorite Easter egg. Can I talk about a quick Easter egg?
Well, you're probably gonna talk about my favorite one too.
Okay, never mind.
Hyperspace.
Yeah. Okay. Oh wait.
Okay. Yeah. The thing I thought was interesting they mentioned was he asked about the fleet or something like that, and he's like, "Oh, they've all left. They're all doing their own thing." Does that just mean like the couple Gauntlet starfighters, or did Bo and the Mandos take Moff Gideon's cruiser? Is what I'm curious about.
Interesting. I think regardless, the fact that they're now running around as mercenaries is such a shame.
Yeah, well, it's going to take Mandos. They're laying their groundwork, right? Like Din's going to have to use the Darksaber to reunite everybody for a cause of some sort. Unite the clans.
Yeah.
So we also got so there was a little pirate skirmish back on Navarro. I know we're jumping around, and kind of cool. Just kind of Mando just annihilates them all on the spot.
Yep.
Which
then the battleship scene.
Yeah, which gives us a sweet little space battle scene. Loved
Yep.
it. They're playing
I know.
he's playing hide and seek in the asteroids pretty much to wipe them all out.
Yeah.
And man, like we've been getting some overpowered spaceships lately in Star Wars, like Luthen's ship for one, right?
His
Mando's his
hull wrecker or whatever it's called.
It is a Hullcraft.
Hullcraft. Yeah, his Hullcraft, and then Mando's supercharged whatever that is.
Thunder Hullcraft.
Oh my
and Mando's N1 Starfighter is so over the top, like the engine's on it. He literally just hits the button and he just escapes anyone and could disappear and like outmaneuver anyone. So like it's fun to watch, but yeah, it just seems overpowered. And even like that little pirate capital ship, whatever it is, right? Kind of has some gun lock dead to rights. It's just like, yeah, not a big deal. I just hit the boost button here, but gone.
Okay. Never trust a pirate.
Yeah. Did you like the reveal of the pirate captain who looked like he was made of seaweed?
You mean Seaweed the Hutt?
Yeah.
Distant cousin of Pizza the Hutt? Long lost brother of Jabba the Hutt?
Looked like Davy Jones, but just like seaweed.
Looks like Davy Jones and Pizza the Hutt made a baby. And it was him.
Yeah. Questionable character design. I appreciate new characters, but it was kind of weird.
Yeah.
Kind of weird looking. What else we got? But yeah, episode kind of follows the similar Mando format where it's like, I know I have an overarching goal, but I have to fetch something to take my next step.
Yep.
And again, that's been the Mando formula, so I don't hate it.
Yep.
You kind of assume it's coming because, it's basically like an RPG. I must get item X so I could go into Castle B so I could face villain Y, right?
So, tell me the Easter egg. Let's talk about it. The hyperspace Easter egg.
So
from Rebels.
Yeah, so I think probably my almost favorite part of the entire episode was the hyperspace scene and Mando's sleeping. So it's just Grogu.
And I was wondering about that. Like, how does he sleep on that little thing? Yeah, I think he was sleeping too.
Yeah, his head was cocked to the side. So it makes sense that a force-sensitive person is the one staring out the window, and you just see the shadows of the Purrgil flying. And, Easter egg aside, the bigger thing that opens up is, like, I don't know, we're just getting so much closer to Ezra. You know what I mean?
Now
we know that he left on Purrgil, and I know these Purrgil likely have nothing to do with Ezra, or I don't know if there's multiple schools of them, but just seeing them in live action.
Yeah.
Ezra's coming home soon.
Do you think we'll see Ezra?
Not this not season? Mando. No, not Mando.
No,
in Ahsoka, I bet. Ahsoka is where we're gonna get him.
Oh my God, I can't wait.
But that to me was the perfect Easter egg and perfect tease.
So good.
Yeah. It just
so good.
Yeah.
It's basically Dave Filoni being like, hey, we hear you.
Space whales.
We got it. Space whales. They're coming.
Yeah. And just kind of so subtle too that if you weren't a super fan, you might just be like, oh, that's kind of a weird shadowy outline and just not think anything of it. But to know, it just means so much more, I feel.
You're not wrong.
Yeah. So love that. I think that's really all I got. Like it was breakneck pace. Like we got a big creature battle, Navarro reunion, pirate space battle, Bo-Katan catch up. It was
Mopatan
moping on her throne.
Mopatan,
yeah, the ruler. Thrones are a funny thing. I wrote a note about this, but then I deleted it because I think I might have solved it in my own head. But do people actually how long do people sit on those things for? Like, what are you doing sitting on that throne
all day?
Then I told myself maybe a droid or something said there's a guest coming, so she got out of her chambers and then went to sit on it to address them.
Yeah,
but they're still.
That's what I'm going to do when you visit. I'm going to make a throne. I'm just going to sit on it for when you show up. Yeah.
I find the same thing too when you see like a movie or of a guy like the huge office
or Game of Thrones.
Well, his office is just a big desk, and it's just like
There's
like
nothing on it,
just some stationery, no computer or anything. It's like what are you doing all day in that room
all day?
Like,
That's fair.
So
do we want to rate it before we go, or do we want to jump and then rate at the end?
Well, let's rate this, and then we'll move on to Bad Batch. So do you have any other final comments about our opening to Mando?
So good to have it back.
Yeah.
I'm not sure what they're going to do with this whole Bad Batch and Mando on the same day, but it's so good to have it back.
Yeah.
So good.
All right. You're up to bat first. What do you got? What do you got for a Mando season 3 opener?
8.5.
8.5?
8.5. Strong showing. That is definitely the highest opener I think I've given. I don't even know if The Last of Us had that high of an opener. It had a lot of check marks to fill, and it sprinted through it beautifully. It was a great combination of fun, one-liners, Babu Frick, IG-11. I loved seeing the Karg on Navarro, what he's done with it. Great character development, seeing the Watch or the Night Watch. I think they're called the Night Watch.
Children of the Watch.
Children of the Watch. Yeah,
this came to me. I
believe starting to build their cult back up. It was just everything, and then a couple of Easter eggs for us super losers. That was just like, thank you.
Yeah, we're sharing a brain. I'm also 8.5, and again, like fast paced. Like if you're someone who thought Andor was slow, like this is up your alley. I loved Andor, and I think, again, production value insane. It's sweet seeing all that stuff get blasted at you at once.
Yeah,
I would, if I did have a complaint, stretch it out over more time. Like it
almost moved too fast.
It felt last season Game of Thrones ish, even that on steroids, on how much stuff they jammed at you.
Yeah.
With, again, I don't want to compare it to Andor just because there's such different shows, but Andor spent so much time world building and character building. Mando doesn't have to do that nearly as much because we've been with the characters for a long time now. It did that in season 1, right? So it can afford to go, a little faster, but I thought it would have been nicer to maybe just spend a little extra more time with some of the plot.
That's fair.
Or some of the characters.
Yeah.
But like again, I'm not, because if they had on their thing, we need to jam in a sweet space battle, I'm not going to complain. They added that in there at the sacrifice of some other, storyline. So I'm, again,
you're down with it.
Yeah. The way Mando's set up, like that's the way the show is. It's going to be, Easter egg, action, cinematic, heavy. And it's going to be a fast pace. They know exactly where they're going and what they want to tell. And they don't have to spend a lot of time developing story because they've been leading up to some of this stuff. So, yeah. I
agree.
Looking forward to more. It was, I felt like we were away from that property a little too long.
Yeah.
Because they took a year off. We got a little Boba Fett action instead. And it's also interesting that, Pedro Pascal now is like the main star of my life.
He really is.
Yeah.
Last of Us, The Mandalorian, like he's looking after, he's basically Adventures in Babysitting Club. He is Father of the Year.
You could argue the two biggest shows from the two biggest IPs on air right now both star the same person.
Doing the same
crazy.
Thing.
Doing the same thing.
Doing the same thing.
It's crazy. It's crazy.
Yeah.
Okay.
God, that was a good episode. Monday.
So Bad Batch, arguably almost the same length as the Mandalorian premiere.
Yep.
I find we got everything we've been asking for a bit here. We finally got Mount Tantus. We got an update on the cloning. Nala Se is in prison refusing to work with them, which I thought was interesting. I thought they were just going to basically turn her into a slave and use her to do the stuff. But the episode starts with a very classic sci-fi trope, and one that I'm 100% down for. The old, half destroyed ship that sends out the distress signal and is in disarray because of, some sort of presence killed the entire crew. Like how many movies start out with that setup? But it's sweet. And, we get to see clone commandos. So they're the ones on Mount Tantus. They're the ones transporting this cargo, right? So, it's always sweet to see them. Didn't really get to see them in action. We just got to see them get eaten pretty much and stand around.
Yeah.
But the big surprise, well, two big surprises actually. First is Lama Su did not die.
No.
So if you remember when they took Nala Se prisoner, they go, the Rampart and his troopers go into Lama Su's office, and they basically, I can't remember what it was, but they basically say your services are no longer needed, and the door shuts. And everyone, I think, just assumed they executed him. But no, he's been rotting in a jail cell, and now they're going to use him to leverage Nala Se for info on Omega to get her to start cloning. Which is an interesting. Again, why couldn't they have done that? Episode 2, episode 3. Like, you could have had this hook from the very beginning, and then Empire could have been trying to track Omega as they go on all these adventures. Again, it
was so good, but the fact that they did this episode now and tech has already started to connect the dots, like, you could have made that a 3 or 4 episode arc that was amazing, and instead you pissed around for 6 episodes. And then you cram daddied that into 30 minutes.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
I don't care that Echo won a race in a pod. Like, give me an entire episode of Rex and everybody trying to depict what is happening with this and setting up recon missions and like so many opportunities. 100%. So many.
So we find the creature being transported is the Zelo Beast.
Are you sure it's not King Kong? Because there was a moment towards the end of that where King Kong is on a building swatting away planes. Like, I've seen this movie a couple times. It's King Kong.
Yeah. Yeah. So we know back in the Clone Wars, Palpatine was obviously very interested in the Zillo Beast because of its skin was blaster proof and all that stuff, right? So from a cloning science perspective, I can't remember the arc. Well, I know what they do, but I'm just trying to remember what Palpatine's direct intentions. He had that one doctor dude with that guy with the big round eyes like this.
Yeah.
They were basically wanting to poke and prod and use that Zillo Beast for military tactics, right? What can they get from it? So it seems like they obviously have cloned it to create it, because they had to kill the Zillo Beast at the end. Or wait, did they kill it or they relocate? No, they killed it.
I think they killed it.
Right? They killed it. Yeah, they took it from its planet, they brought it to Coruscant, and then they had to kill it when it got loose.
Yeah.
But they obviously got the material to start cloning. They must have multiple ones because there was multiple shuttles, right? In containment. So it's interesting what they're going to do with the Zillo Beast, especially the one now since it fed off the power grid and got super huge.
Massive.
That's going to be hard to just, keep under wraps, unlike the little other baby-sized ones, right?
Yeah.
So cool to see the Zillo Beast back. It'll be interesting to see where it's all going, because a lot of the talk about cloning, right? Everyone's mind wants to go to Palpatine and Snoke.
Of course.
That's where everyone wants to go and take it. But we have, we don't see anything about cloning people right now. We see, the Zillo Beast has been cloned. And I don't know if they want Nala Se to clone a new clone army for the Empire. We just don't really know where it's going. Like, obviously, they made it clear this is the Emperor's project.
Yeah, for sure.
So it's likely going to go to, can you clone a being who's powerful in the Force and have said clone retain the Force, right? And stuff like that. So it's probably going to go there. But yeah, it's again, the storyline is so interesting, and it ties. Like a lot of this was covered in the Star Wars expanded universe in various ways. So, there's so many different directions that could go and tie in. But like, we're literally episode 11, and we're just getting a little bit of cloning info.
This would have been great. Episode 4.
Yeah, there is so much they could talk about with cloning, and just give us a little bit. Give us like a 3-minute intro on something on Mount Tantus, then pan to the Bad Batch. You know what I mean? Like slowly build it up, but we have.
I feel like they're going to sprint through the next 5.
Yeah, it's going to go full hardcore, I would imagine now.
Yeah.
And then the other thing I thought was interesting was when the Empire shows up to the planet where the crash is, they immediately. I thought when all those modified LAATs, I don't know what the Empire calls them now. But when they dropped in, they immediately just went after the Bad Batch shuttle. I was like, shouldn't you guys be trying to take down the Zillo Beast, killing that village? But what they kind of do at the end is, after they get the Bad Batch gone, they subdue it very easily. They obviously had the tech ready to take it down.
Yeah.
But when they land the troop carrier at the village, I thought for sure those clone commandos, even though you can't see their face, the one guy's face looked like, I don't agree with what I'm about to do right now. And I thought they were going to there can't be any witnesses to this Zillo Beast. And I thought they were going to kill everybody. Mm-hmm. They don't, but they round them all up and take them off world. And then there's a comment at the end, did any of the villagers see the Zillo Beast? And he's like, yes. He's like, they've been captured or something like that. And they'll be we'll deal with them or taken care of. That new, what was his name? The new doctor? No, I can't recall.
Come on. You must. The last name of this doctor is like one of the most famous words in Hollywood. It's Dr. Hemlock.
Why is Hemlock famous? I feel like
Hemlock is the poison that Romeo and Juliet drink at the end of Romeo and Juliet.
Yeah.
Hemlock is the forbidden poison.
Thank you, Shakespeare.
You're welcome.
So Dr. Hemlock.
Because I saw it and I'm like, really? Hemlock? This is what we're doing? I'm like,
yeah.
Okay, there's nothing romantic about this, but all right. Yeah.
Maybe he has this like secret romance for Nala Say. There's some previous stuff going on.
We can be together forever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But he kind of inferred that, anyone who witnesses, no one can know what we're doing here. Like, make sure there's no witnesses, kill them. So again, a bit of a dark moment for the Empire. Well, they're always dark, but a dark portrayal on the show.
Yeah, for sure.
Like this top secret stuff they're working on. I think that's all I got. Any other comments on the episode?
No, it was just so overdue.
Yeah.
I mean, we've said this a few times. There are much smarter people than us doing the work in the background on this. I can't imagine why we had to drag Sid through 6 episodes to finally get here. I was so intrigued when I was watching this. Yeah. Truth be told, I watched these after work today and tonight after dinner before we did this stream, and I'm like, this is. I mean, I don't know what I've rated the highest episode of this show, but this is definitely going to be up there. I mean, it was awesome. Yeah. It was so good.
And goddamn,
too late.
They found a way to sneak Sid in again in this episode.
Oh my god! Can someone just chuck Sid into like that hut pit where it fights that big beast thing that was in Boba Fett? Like, can we just feed her to that?
Thank God it was just like a quick little hollow call, and that was
pointless.
Man, yeah,
pointless. It wasn't even needed.
Go get me that cargo. Like, they could have thought of any other plot device to have the Bad Batch come across that shuttle.
Yeah.
Before we rate it, I have a question for you.
Shoot.
Why did you wake up and watch the Bad Batch before Mando?
I watched the Bad Batch right after work because I was getting my niece, and I figured no matter what, there's always longer credits. So and I wanted to wait for Mando. Like, I wanted to wait until it was dark enough. Like, I went downstairs. I watched Mando downstairs in the theater room. Whereas I watched Bad Batch like upstairs before I went and got my niece, because my expectations for Bad Batch were like here.
Yeah.
But my expectations for Mando are kind of up here somewhere. So,
All right.
Yeah.
What do you got for this episode of The Bad Batch?
7.8.
7.8. I am an 8.0. I think it hit 8 for me.
I was touching 8 too.
Just because I feel like
touching 8. You know what?
it's like,
I'm going to change.
yeah.
I'm going to 8. I'm going to join you.
Yeah.
We're going to have
Finally
two scores the exact same.
Yeah. Finally got everything we wanted. So I feel like I can't be in the 7s on it.
That's fair.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And again, I like the sci-fi horror trope as well. You know?
Yeah.
I think it's a cool
It was great.
thing it's a nice wrinkle to weave in here and now, right? So
yeah, it was great. It was super good. Solid 8, just a little overdue.
Yeah.
Yep.
All right. Well, I think next Wednesday will be probably just as exciting as far as Star Wars.
Yeah, these are going to be long reviews for the next 5 weeks.
And for you and me, Monday, I believe, is the finale for The Last of Us.
God, I don't want it to be over.
Yeah, so it's going to be over.
Sunday will be over, and then Monday we'll do
Sunday. We'll do a live stream Monday. And then we'll see everyone here back on Wednesday.
Sounds good.
All right. Well, peace out, everyone. Let us know in the comments what you thought. Was there anything we missed that we did not talk about that we should be talking about? I'd love to know. And yeah, we'll see everyone next week. Peace out.